Yeah, I'm not sure that it was clinical, but it was definitely the obese part, yeah. It was,
How are you looking so slim then? Is it depression?
It was, yeah, that's what it is. Morbidly obese, that's my phrase. You know, one day you just see yourself in the mirror, you think, hold on a minute, I can see where this is going. And, I just thought I'd better start knocking it on the head, really, and trying to get to the gym and eating healthy and that.
The other thing I've noticed since the last time we met on the TV is you've got new teeth. You're like Mr. Ed. What is it?
Yeah, well, I had them straightened. That was the big thing I did with. Because about 5 or 6 years ago? No, longer than that. Probably about 10 years ago. I got beat up in Manchester, which is everybody's. You know, that's what everybody happens at some point. And so I had about 3 or 4 that were a bit discoloured and a bit. And again, it was just something I noticed on the telly, and I thought, right, I'm going to get them scrubbed up and straightened a bit, back to normal, back to how I'd like them to be. So,
are you going to be the Joan Rivers of comedy, where you're going to have it all tucked and sucked and pulled back?
Yeah. No, not at all. look how young I look still. I'm so tired. I'm 28, so, but I look about 34, I reckon. That's what I looked at myself the other day. I thought, there's nothing like, my wife's just had twin girls. There's nothing like 4 hours sleep. You get up in the morning, and the bonus of 4 hours sleep is you get to see what you're going to look like in the future when you're old. Oh, hello.
It was interesting. I had Dara O'Brien in the other day, and I thought he was in his 60s.
He's lost a bit of weight as well. I think that all comics have just got to a point where they think, hold on a minute, we're going to die. So let's try and lose some weight here, and everyone's at it.
It's interesting, though. It's the only ones that have gone from the road to TV that seem to lose weight. I think being on the road and being a comedian and being fat is part of the course, isn't it? I
think there's a lot of, chubby comics, I think. And certainly when you're driving back at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's nowhere to buy a salad. You have to just get a Ginster's pasty or whatever. So, yeah, I think and then once you get in telly and someone's got a fetch dinner for you, so they go, what do you want for dinner? You can't go, pasty? You can't do that. You have to go, chicken salad? Even though you don't want one, you'd rather have a pasty.
It's all going really well for you, and I think it's a lot to do with me, to be honest. Since you were on my programme, it seems like everything's taken off.
Do you know what? A lot of people have said that, actually. We bought your tickets after we heard you on Alex's show. It was, So I've only got you to thank, really. I make sure you get mentioned in the biography. If you can make 10 people laugh, you can make 100 people laugh, and that's the idea. It's just the hardest thing is getting people in, and buying and getting them to buy the tickets. That's the difficult bit. Once they're in, that's the easy bit.
You're not trying to be aggressive or too political. I mean, you talk about net curtains and things like that.
Well, yeah, I've not put net curtains into the set yet, but I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I suppose just normal stuff, family and life and that. And I've never really had any aspirations to be, political comic or satirical or discuss. I mean, obviously I talk about the news on 8 out of 10 Cats, but a lot of that is, a topical story and just way of going, well, I'll tell you a funny thing, and then just crowbarring something in, like, or mentioning something. Or just my opinion on the news a lot of the time is not necessarily satirical, it's just about the news. So, I've never really... Everyone seems to like it. Well, the people that come and see me like it. People know before they come and see us, when they've seen us on telly, I'm no different than when you come and see me live. That is me. That's the way it works. So you're not seeing like a watered down version of me on the telly, and then you come and see me live and I shock you, or vice versa. What I am on the telly is what I am, live, and people like it, and the people, and it's selling out, and hopefully the DVD will do all right.
I think it'd be a nice surprise though for your audience. We were talking about this before the interview. Maybe come on with a large organ and give them a number or something.
I'd love to close with a song. I mean, I went to see Lee Evans and he does it, doesn't he? He finishes with a song, and that's what they did back in the day. They used to finish with a song. Peter, of course, he does a little tune at the end. Bill Bailey's the whole thing's singing in that. I would absolutely love to. When it becomes a little bit cool, I think Rob Brydon does as well. Actually, I think he finished with a number. Maybe I'd need to be just another step up the ladder before you can get away with it. I think that's what it feels like, getting away with being able to have a little sing-song. What's
your favourite song at karaoke then? What could there be at the end of the show?
I bang out a little bit of a Tom Jones number. To be honest, I'm a Tom Jones fan. It'll be Till or something like some.
I think Green Grass of Home.
That could work, maybe. I don't know. It'd be nice. Like in the back in the day, they all used to finish it. My granddad used to have Bernard Manning albums, not of his stand-up, of his singing. He'd have an album of Bernard Manning's Christmas songs, and it was all these songs about healing the world and like how nice it was, little baby Jesus is here. And then you're like, thank God he's not done any of his jokes on there, just his singing. He'd do like My Kind of Town, he'd be like, my kind of town, Burnley is, wherever he was that night, my kind of town, St. Helens is. It didn't always rhyme, to be fair. Oh, well, that's really nice of it. I mean, to be honest with you, not really fussed, because once you're in, and it's not like the cinema where if you leave before like halfway through you get your money back. That's it. You're in, you're strapped in, and you may as well stay to the end and get your money's worth. I always say on stage, because my shows are long as well, as you remember. Often I proper Ken Dodd it up second half, and and this year they have been quite long show. I mean, the DVD I had to cut down from nearly 3 hours to 85-90 minutes, and I say to people, I'm like, my comedy is like an all-you-can-eat buffet. It's not all brilliant, but there's loads of it.
We better do some questions that I did last time, because listeners who didn't hear that will want to hear. What were you like as a child? Were you funny?
No, not really. I mean, I meet mates from school now and they go, I can't believe you're a comedian. Like everyone sort of, you hope they go, that's exactly the job I thought you would end up doing. My mates go, I'm surprised you're still alive, to be honest. That's what my mates look at me. So, I was a bit of a smarty pants like that, and I had a couple of really good teachers. I think that's what it was, and they sort of humoured me a lot rather than put me down, and that I think that helps. That sort of, it means you grow in confidence a little bit, and certainly at that age where, you could go either way, sort of 14, 15, you could end up Prime Minister or some sort of serial killer. Anything could happen. So, luckily I ended up as a comic. I started only a few years after that. I started when I was 17, so, and went to university, did the two at the same time, and trained, to be an actor and all these other things. And but stand-up was always the thing that I enjoyed the most.
What I notice about you, and I've seen you a couple of times live, and having watched this DVD, you just do the same stuff every day as we do, but you're able to make it funny. There's nothing extraordinary in your life. You just live in every day. How do you do that? How do you turn just an average story into real belly laughs at the end?
To a certain extent, if I just told you exactly what happened in my life, you go, well, this is a bit boring, So, there's a point where you have to mix it up a little bit, or certainly that sort of wit of the staircase sort of thing, where you think, I should have said that in that situation. And the thing with normal people who are not comedians, they if something happens and on the way home they think of something funny they should have said, then that's it, it's too late. Whereas when you're a comic, you said that. That's the difference. You might have been on your way home when you thought of it, but when you tell that story next, that is exactly what you said. So that's, there's a bonus in that, and a bonus in telling it and adding little bits and bobs. And a lot of it, you can't really just come on stage and say, have you noticed this? Because I have. And everyone goes, oh yeah, and we have as well. Can't wait to see this on the DVD. You have to do something with it. Michael's very good at that. I'm good at it. Peter Kay's good at it. And you've got that observational thing of being able to spot something and find the humour in it. I mean, I've got a list of stuff at home where I think I've observed it, but I've not yet been able to make it funny or turn it into something. At the moment, it is still just something I've observed. So.
It's been an interesting year in terms of TV, because obviously 8 out of 10 Cats has been the thing that people recognise you from, and then you did the thing on the BBC with Fern Britain. How was that? It
was good, actually. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those things where the BBC One come knocking and say, will you do this thing on well, it went out on Saturday tea time, it went out on Thursday early evening, and they were like, it's not really a comedy quiz like the other stuff you've done, it is just it's a quiz, but you can occasionally say something funny if you want. And
did they really put it like that in the contract?
Sort of, yeah. That's basically what it said, if you can be bothered. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing it, and I met some really, like people who would never get to meet, John Craven and Dame Pauline Quirk, of course, and some people, Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, and it was good. It was nice to do a quiz show with no pressure, to be honest, with no. If 8 out of 10 Cats is still, it's not about getting the questions right. It's about being funny and being daft. Whereas with that, it was just a quiz. It was like Question of Sport more than anything else, but just about telly, and it was good. So hopefully they'll make it again and see what happens.
And I think you're brilliantly suited to that. I mean, I look at something like Mock the Week, and I've said this to the guys themselves, that it's so competitive. That's not really your thing, is it?
I don't really like that sort of thing. I think it looks too hard work, that, anyway, that Mock the Week. I've seen it a few times. I think, oh no, let's put a bit of effort in if I had to do that. No, I mean, 8 out of 10 Cats is perfect for me, because you're on with other comics, but they're not all comics, and and we get. I mean, there was an episode last year where half the people on, including me, Sean and Jimmy, were women. And that is not something you would get on any other show, any other panel show, and. You know, so you get your Claudia Winklemans and Gabby Logans and that, and Sarah Millicans, and they come on because they know that it's not a bear pit. It's not a show that they're going to get chastised, you know, and they're going to be able to get a word in edgeways, you know, and that's really important, I think, and that's why I enjoy the show.
Being a dad, I want to end on that.
I mean, the good thing is, like, we've not told anybody the names and stuff. I mean, I've told my wife. That'd be awkward, just twin 1 and twin 2, but you know, we kept that, so that's been nice to sort of keep that just between the family and that, and keep it private, which has been, and it's been great. I've loved it. I mean, it's been hard coming back from a gig, you know, driving back for 4 hours and then getting home just in time for the change in the feed, which takes a couple of hours, and then they sleep for 3 hours, and then you're up again and you've got to go down to London or whatever, do some work. So that's been hard, but even that, I still wouldn't swap that for what my wife has to do every single day with them. Just, you know, I think I did a day when she has to go back in hospital, and I had them both for a day and a night, overnight, and I mean, nothing freaks babies out more when they're crying than joining in. And that's what happened in the end. I just thought, I'm going to have a cry as well here. And then as soon as she come back, I thought, thank God you're here. I've got to go to Newcastle. Well, that's it. I mean, you're not buying this DVD for me. I'm doing all right for myself, but there's 2 little babies there who, you know, really need to go to university in 18 years, and it's really for them. When
you found out that you'd got 2 and not 1, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I wish I'd have got twin insurance. Have you heard about this? No. There's a thing called twin insurance, yeah, where you're trying for a baby and you can insure yourself against twins. So if you do have twins, the insurance company pays out, because you've obviously got to buy 2 of everything. So yeah, it's the house is a mess. That's the only thing. I get home and I come in, I do 3 things. I go, why are all the lights on? It's like Blackpool illuminations. Why is the heating on? Just put a jumper on. And why is the house such a tip all the time? And I come in, and then after a gig I spend, you know, an hour tidying up, you know, and then next morning I come down, same. And it's not the babies, because they can't move, so it must be my wife.
I think maids, cleaners, nannies.
I'm all right, to be honest. I quite like the house as it is. I don't like inviting people in. I mean, my mum comes over and helps us sometimes, and because we had some mates who were like, here's a number for a nanny, here's a number for someone to look after the babies, like a night nurse and that, to overnight and stuff. And we just thought, we're all right, to be honest. What